1. The comfortable lie. He always thought he was doing okay. A steady job, some savings, a little XRP on the side. People around him said, "Be grateful. Don't risk too much. You're doing better than most." But every year, his bank account looked the same. His goals got smaller, his dreams blurrier. And that quiet voice inside, it never left. You're not building anything. You're surviving. Not leading, not owning, just passing through. And every time the XRP price dipped, he'd check his phone, feel a knot in his stomach, and whisper, "Maybe I'm not cut out for this." But what he didn't realize was this. He had fallen for the comfortable lie, the one that says, average is safe. Survival is enough. Just wait, things will get better. But they didn't. They never do, until you call the lie what it is. A trap. Because survival feels safe. But it kills leadership. It kills legacy. It kills the fire. And only when he admitted it, when he finally said, "I'm tired of being okay," did the journey toward the You Are Rich list truly begin. 2. The shift. It didn't happen in a seminar, not in a viral video, not even in a bull run. It happened one night when he looked in the mirror and finally saw the truth. He had been waiting too long, waiting for a perfect moment, waiting for someone to tell him, "Now's the time," waiting for confidence before taking action. But confidence never came. Clarity never knocked. And the XRP Rich list? They weren't waiting. They were moving. That night, he made the shift. He grabbed a notebook, wrote down a number, 100,000 XRP. It scared him. It stretched him. But for the first time in years, he felt something awaken. Not hype, not greed, ownership. He mapped out a strategy, cut expenses, started a side hustle, sold things he didn't need. Every dollar became a soldier, marching toward his seat on the rich list. He stopped watching price, started tracking conviction, and slowly, something changed. Not the market, him. Because the real shift wasn't in his portfolio, it was in his identity. He no longer hoped to be rich. He started thinking like the rich, acting like the rich, building like the rich. That was the night he stopped surviving and started rising. 3. The invisible wall. He thought the hardest part was money, but he was wrong. The real battle was something no one warned him about. The invisible wall. It wasn't in his bank account. It wasn't on the charts. It was in his head. The doubts whispered every morning, "Who do you think you are? You're too late. 100,000 XRP? That's not for people like you." And every time he opened Twitter, saw someone post gains, or watched another YouTube guru, the wall got taller. Comparison, self-doubt, fear of missing out. Not because he wasn't trying, but because no one around him understood. They laughed at his plan, called it a gamble, told him to play it safe. So he stopped talking, stopped explaining, and started building in silence. He realized the XRP Rich list isn't made of noise. It's made of those who break through the invisible wall, not with luck, but with patience, discipline, and belief forged in solitude. Every wallet in the You Are Rich list has a story. But before the numbers, before the profits, they all faced this same wall. Some gave up, most turned back. But a few, the few who rose, they walked through the silence and found themselves on the other side. Not richer yet, but unshakable. 4. The fog of the middle. At first, everything felt clear. The vision was sharp, the fire was strong. He had his number, his why, his plan. But then came the middle, the long stretch of waiting, where nothing seemed to happen, where the price moved sideways or down. No fireworks, no headlines, just silence. This is where most people disappear, not because they're weak, but because the fog convinces them they're lost. He woke up one morning and thought, "Is this even working? Am I crazy to believe in XRP?" The conviction he once had felt like a memory. He checked his wallet, same number, same price, but something whispered back, "This is the test." Because the middle is where all rich list stories are forged, not in bull runs, not in hype, in fog, in boredom, in discipline without applause. He reminded himself, the XRP rich list isn't built in moments of clarity. It's built when clarity is gone and you keep going anyway. So he didn't change the plan. He changed his focus. From checking charts to checking his character. From hoping for a moonshot to doubling down on habits. And somewhere in the fog, he grew. Not his portfolio, but his identity. Because those who become wealthy don't just wait for the breakthrough. They become the person who can carry it. 5. The quiet milestone. One day, something strange happened. No big pump, no news, no one else even noticed. But he did. He checked his XRP wallet, and for the first time it hit 5 digits, 10,000 XRP. No celebration, no music, just silence. But inside, it was loud, because this wasn't just a number. It was a symbol of every night he didn't sell, of every time he ignored fear, of every paycheck he chose to believe instead of spend. This milestone didn't come with confetti. It came with clarity. He realized the XRP rich list isn't about waiting to feel rich. It's about acting rich long before the world sees it. He looked in the mirror that morning and didn't see a man chasing wealth anymore. He saw a man becoming it. The world didn't change, the price didn't move, but he did. That quiet milestone, it was louder than any pump, because it meant one thing. He wasn't guessing anymore. He was building. And the moment he crossed that threshold, he knew he'd never go back. 6. The whisper of legacy. Late one night, he sat at the kitchen table, alone, flicking through old photos. His father, his grandfather, strong men, hard-working men. But they never escaped the grind. They survived. They sacrificed. But they never broke through. And now, he realized he had something they didn't. Time, tools, XRP, vision, and most of all, a second chance to rewrite the family story, not just for himself, but for his children, his grandchildren, for a surname that once meant just enough, to mean unstoppable. He didn't need yachts or jets. He needed peace. The kind of peace that comes when you know your choices have the power to shape generations. The XRP in his wallet wasn't numbers anymore. It was legacy in waiting. Not noise, not hype, whispers of a future where his family never begs, where his kids don't wonder if they'll make it, because he already did. And in that silence, as the moonlight hit the table, he heard it. This is bigger than you. Don't stop now. 7. The decision point. It didn't come with fanfare. No aha moment, just a quiet morning. Coffee, cold air, and a choice. He opened his XRP app, saw the same number, same price. But for the first time, he wasn't checking out of fear. He wasn't hoping for a green candle. He was checking his commitment. Because this wasn't about price anymore. It was about position. He asked himself, am I in, or am I pretending? Was he just flirting with wealth, or finally married to the mission? He thought about the nights he hesitated, the FUD, the voices that said, it's too risky. Too slow. Too late. And then he remembered the quiet milestone, the legacy whisper, the vision that burned louder than any chart. So he made the call. No more halfway. No more watching. No more wondering if he belonged. He picked his tier, his number, his future. And from that day forward, he wasn't just a man holding XRP. He was already on the list. Not because of wealth, but because of a decision. The kind only the rich ever make. 8. The quiet power. He didn't tell anyone. No Facebook post, no tweet, no group chat announcement. His wallet didn't need applause. His plan didn't need validation. Because when you know who you are, you stop trying to prove it. His neighbors were buying boats. His friends were flipping coins. Everyone was chasing noise. But he was building something no one could see. Yet. He didn't brag, didn't lecture. He just kept stacking quietly. He listened, studied, waited. Not for a miracle, but for the inevitable. Because that's the power the XRP rich list holds. Calm in chaos. Focus in fog. Fire behind still eyes. While others sold, he doubled down. While others mocked, he smiled. And while the world was shouting moon, he was planting seeds for decades. He understood. Loud is fragile. Quiet is permanent. And so, in the middle of the noise, he walked like a man who already knew how it ends. Not rich in the future. Rich already. In mindset, in mission, in movement. That's the quiet power. 9. The ripple effect. He thought it was just about him, his future, his freedom. But something changed. His son noticed. "Dad, why are you always so calm when the market drops?" His brother called. "Man, I saw your stack. How'd you stay in when it tanked?" A neighbor knocked. "I've been watching what you're doing. Can we talk?" That's the thing about conviction. It spreads, quietly, powerfully. He didn't need to preach. He didn't need to convert. He just lived it. And without meaning to, he became the signal. The proof that it's possible. That long-term wealth isn't just theory. That men can be strong, patient, strategic. One man with a clear vision lit a path for 3 others. And those 3 started shifting their thinking too. That's the ripple effect. It starts in silence. It echoes in actions. It multiplies in those watching, even if they never say a word. And this man, who once questioned if he belonged, was now the quiet leader of his own circle of rich list thinkers. Not famous, not flashy, just free. And that freedom was contagious. 10. The final shift. It didn't happen on a bull run. It didn't happen with fireworks. There was no XRP to the moon headline. It happened in stillness. One evening, he checked his wallet, then closed the screen, and whispered to himself, "It's done. I'm no longer chasing. I've arrived." Not because of the number, but because of who he became. He no longer needed reassurance, no longer feared the dips, no longer waited for someone to tell him, "Now's the time." He was the time. The man who once panicked in the red now welcomed it like an old friend. The man who once doubted XRP now understood the bigger game. The man who once followed noise now walked with quiet certainty. This was the final shift, not in price, not in luck, but in identity. He was no longer just someone holding XRP. He was XRP rich list, not someday, now. And the world? Still asleep, still scrolling, still waiting. But he was awake. Welcome to the rich list. You earned your seat.